A pleasant day, everyone. This time we're gonna talk about the examples of a fable, a legend, and a horror story. So now let's start with a fable. So what is a fable? Well, a fable is a short story that includes animals as characters and implores moral lessons. So here I have here the fable. The title is The Fisherman and the Little Fish. At last, a fisherman who waited all day in the ocean caught a little fish. The little fish begged for freedom and said that it is too small for dinner and soon it will become bigger and larger. The fisherman still caught the little fish and said that he cannot forego his certain gains for an uncertain profit. Let's now sum up the story. The Fisherman and the Little Fish is written by Aesop, dated during 1867 and originated in Greece. The moral of the fable is that a little thing in hand is worth more than a great thing in prospect. A horror story is a story in which focus on creating a feeling of fear. It features supernatural elements such as witch, ghosts, and vampires. I have here an example of a true horror story about Clarita Villanueva. Are you familiar with Clarita Villanueva? Her story is famous in almost platforms and even in broadcast. Dated back year 1953, an 17-year-old girl named Clarita Villanueva is locked up in Old Bilibid prison in Manila and started experiencing being bitten by two invisible creatures. She is put into jail's hospital, but the doctors couldn't find or couldn't explain her conditions and even the cure for her bites. She sometimes cursed at least two nurses and warden in the hospital that they will die, and some are get injured whenever she is in his possessed state. Mayor Lacson, the mayor of Manila at the time, let Clarita examined by 100 psychologists, journalists, and doctors but couldn't explain her condition. Mayor Lacson had witnessed the weird actions of Clarita Villanueva, and he is so desperate to get Clarita exorcised. Samral is the one who exorcised Clarita and successfully made it. So from the story, I can say that our strong faith to God conquers even the worst tragedies in our life. The temptation of evil and its possessions will not come to us if we have that strong faith to God, with our efforts to do good things and spread His words. So now let's proceed for the last, which is the legend. The legend is a story that sometimes talks about the national or folk hero. Legend is based on facts but sometimes also includes imaginative material. My example of a legend is about the legend of Lady Godiva. To make this story short, let me just tell you the summary of the story. Lady Godiva and her husband Leofric is a powerful, charming, and wealthy. She spent her time helping local churches and was the Earl of Mercia and was stated for the stately matters of the kingdom. She often argues with her husband because of the townspeople and about the taxes that being paid by the townspeople. She sometimes offered to innovate new ways to stop taxes and sometimes drafted letters to the king. One day, they argue about the tax to be stopped, but Leofric is not agreed to stop the tax, unless in one condition that Lady Godiva should ride through the town naked. Lady Godiva accepted the condition for the sake of the townspeople. She implored everybody in the town to lock up their windows and doors, and then the townspeople are get emotional and so proud of her that she will do anything for them. And that afternoon, Lady Godiva saw the empty streets and all the people locked up their windows and locked their doors. She rode through the town naked, and Leo freaked. After what she did, two people have seen. After what she did, two people have seen her rode through the town naked and get the punishment. The boy named Tom, who peeked by the hole to see her, was punished with losing his eyesight. The moral of the legend is about sacrificing even your dignity for the sake of the majority, and it also reflects the payment of taxes and even the poorest of the poor, and the unfair and the biased judgment and treatment for the girls or the women. And that's the end of my report.